So moving further, we are now almost there, so don't worry. Okay. Maximum attention, please. So we have Article 9.1, duties of the advisory committee. The current text is written as you can read it now. And then the proposed text is to have it as duties of the advisory board and not committee, and to advise the members of the executive board and control board in their work wherever it is requested or seen as necessary, to function as a bank of knowledge of the association and to be available for further advice during the whole year, to have at least 2 meetings between the advisory board and the current team during the term. More meetings can be requested both by the EB or CB as by the advisory board. And comments, Central Europe agrees, Asia Pacific agrees. Faces.
Raise your flag, faces. Okay, no discussion?
Okay.
Okay, now we can vote. So raise your flag if you accept the amendment 16
I have a table next to the.
Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Okay, so still on the advisory board, proposed text, the immediate past president as part of the advisory board is also the alumni coordinator. He or she works on the communication towards alumni and the maintenance of the alumni database as agreed between him or her and the current EB or CB. Faces? Or maybe, yeah. I can start the comment, sorry. So, Central Europe agrees, Asia Pacific agrees, and Jocelyn for further explanation. You can start with. Oh, if the immediate past president cannot fulfill those duties, the current president of IAASWorld will be in charge. The alumni coordinator will keep track of the activity of the alumni.
Raise your faces.
Do you need further explanation or is clear?
Discussion.
I would maybe like to propose, I'm really happy that someone says like, if this cannot happen, because I'm also aware that actually it can be a reason that that person doesn't want to do it, cannot do it. So we need a backup plan, but I don't think the current president is the best one. I don't see how that could be done in a good way, so I think it would be better to ask one of the other ones of the advisory board to make sure that someone of them does it. Just one of them, so that it's chosen between them. If you agree.
Faces? Alright, now we can vote. So if you accept the 17th amendment,
I still need to edit the section.
suggestions?
EV, yeah. I want to say you're, yeah.
Faces? That's kind of weird to appoint it to a person that you don't know if he will want to do it. If the past president cannot do it, then you're appointing a person.
Maybe it can just be inside that advisory board, like they decide who will be in charge of it. Just inside the so not the current EBCB, but within the board itself.
I would just say to take others member.
Yeah. Also, there's another proposal for Celine. The alumni corner will keep track of the activity of the alumni. Not, it just states that you'll just do the communication part in his task, maybe to add this or not. I don't know.
Maybe it's a bit in the, I mean, for us it was just to further explain the task. It's a coordinator, so you assume there's some coordination.
And also communication towards alumni, if I understand it's like in one way and not the other way around. Because towards is otherwise very
And also,
communication with alumni.
yeah, we now with the projects try to structure the alumni network a little bit better, and hopefully they also will have somebody appointed to communicate with the advisory board, so it works a little bit more two ways than maybe those. There's something that still has to change.
I have a question. This is just for the EC or the National Campus Alumni.
This is for all the alumni. So all the ex-ES members who want to stay active, they also host a kind of mini WoCo or something like that, and to be more in coordination with them because they're really unstructured. That's
The project that we're working on is alumni guideline. We also try to do the structure, who is in charge of the national database of alumni, what will do the alumni coordinators with the ex-president. So I think this will be, I mean, the project will come, so the next year, and the GA will vote for that, clarify who is in charge for what exactly, if it will.
Maybe just because in the most elegant resolution we don't use the he, she, we use the name, the position of the person. Maybe just replace all the he, she's by only coordinator works on the communication.
There was actually a general idea for that, to use they, like it is officially proposed, apparently because he, she, it's not really correct. So we will propose to the CC to make sure that everything is in the same line and it's never he, she used. I can change it already here, but it's in more places. Yeah, it's in the general things to change to make it all the same. Yes. Maybe the secretaries can write it down.
yeah. You want the secretary to write it down so that it goes to the CC notes? Okay.
So to use they instead of he, she, but everywhere in the constitution to make it uniform. And so the, correct? Yeah.
AC over AC versus.
Yeah, but then still, like between. Okay, here it's not necessary, but like sometimes you have his or her work or something like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go through the text again, and if you still have queries, questions, faces, if it's okay.
Faces. It's fine. Okay,
Okay.
now we go. So,
So now the faces after the correction.
all right, now we are going to vote. So raise your flag if you accept the 17 amendment. For 14 votes. Can you raise your flags again? Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Okay. Now we have also another proposed new chapter for ISIA, and we have the composition, and Central Europe agrees. Asia Pacific agrees, and another comment on the organization part. And we suggest to add the regional board and the quality board alongside the EB and the Vice President of External Relations. Selim agrees. And the region, probably.
Since we already discussed about regional boards taking more control, more participation in ASEA, we can actually not put it here. We cannot say here that the BPER is not the main person of contact between the hosting country and the EB, but that can actually become the board or somebody from the quality board. And we can say that the organization is going to be done by the regional board alongside the local committee and the QB. Any comments?
Okay, are there any comments? Amendment 23, Article 16.1, new chapter 16, article. So you can still think.
I agree that it's nice to involve the quality board, but maybe it's better not to write it in the constitution, as we could, someone from the quality board will be interested in this task. We cannot really be 100% sure that, I guess that the DPER can delegate, they will delegate as one of the quality board.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, in the end, it's the VP of External Relations who will make this quality board, and maybe will be somebody totally different it used to be. So, yeah, to put it in the constitution, maybe not, but I think every VP always looks first at this quality board to check if people are interested in working with you know them better, you know their skills better, and their communication is all the time.
Any questions, comments?
Now raise your faces. Okay. Let's pass to the next article, or we will.
The aim of this year.
Amaru?
Yes.
Now we just discussed the equality board, but about the regional board. Will we put it in there or not?
I wouldn't put the task on the board because it's still a new function. They will have, I will put my idea of the board and the work they would do is more simple, but more work than the sub-regionals. But it's simple, it's the communication, still trying to figure out how they're going to do in the region. To organize an event, I think like a committee, a local committee or national committee will be able to do with the supervision of the organization. Just the promotion, it's not that difficult work. The biggest work is the things done locally and the things like,
In theory, like the regional is always in charge of a little bit like delegating all the events, making sure they happen that day. So I think, yeah, maybe not put it in because in the end, the local committee will do most of it.
and I'm also not sure about the people at the region will have, the regional board. It can be new, fresh people, which is good as a regional board, but if they have no experience in organizing a big international event, you don't know how they will be able to contribute in that, and if it will be like,
Also, it's a different set of skills. It's less about the overview and more about really organizing an event. So it would be the people who are used to organizing exchange weeks, directors meetings, those people more the people who look at the business.
Faces. Okay, let's move forward to the next article.
Then area of participation. Any comments? Okay.
Faces.
Faces.
Okay. Okay. Now we vote for the whole article, no? For the whole chapter. Okay. If you accept all these, the whole chapter 16, raise your flag. Okay, 15 votes in favor.
The next amendment, 25, Article 17.2, on international exchange policies and quality standards. We have the current text, and the proposed text is the exchange coordinators guide, expo guide, and trainee guides shall give guidelines about the exchange program respectively for the exchange coordinator and the intern. The policies and standards as stated in the expo guide must be respected by the exchange coordinators and regional exchange coordinators. The policies and standards as stated in the trainee guide must be respected by all the stakeholders that want to take part in the exchange program.
Okay, faces? Okay, discussion?
Since there will be guidelines and that they have to be followed and respected by every stakeholder, we have on 17.2.4. EXCO and training guides should be updated and confirmed on the international EXCO meetings. And I will put it in the constitution. As in what we did on the expo meeting in Vienna, we took the whole book, we divided it into chapters, we went through everything, and then we gave ideas, and then we just updated it. As in, by just updating it, being there, you don't need to not confirm, but just maybe update it and revise and update it on the international expo meeting so that it's up to date and that it's actually working, so that you don't have an expo book from 2 years ago, so it's every year. There's no need to actually make an update, there's no need for one, but actually go through it and see if there's a need and everybody has any ideas about it.
So the comment is, we advise that the expo and trainee guide are updated and confirmed on the international expo meeting. Yes, and confirm.
Revise and update.
And the international or also the regional?
Okay, so I separate regional guide.
Any comments? So faces, show me your faces. Faces?
Please go.
Okay. Now, I will go. So raise your flag if you accept this amendment. 25. Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Okay. Then we have amendment 32 on information places on Article 17.11. There is no current text to this, and proposed text is the accommodation and meals should preferably be included in the internship, or the cost should be covered. If this is not the case, the information should be clearly written in the information of the expo place on the IAASWorld website. Comments? Asia Pacific agrees to pin information about it in website because mostly we will cost them and we can't always pay them. Or who host them and we can't always pay them. It's because our country's condition. It's still possible to pay them and not to host them, but the possibility is still not high. Central Europe agrees, Asia Pacific agrees. Maybe the plenary can and the group can explain a little bit more.
The point is we agree because we agree to add more information in website if we need additional cost for our living cost, or internship living cost or that. The point is we are agreeing with this.
Any other comment?
It's rather that if this is not the case, the information should be clearly written in the information. It means that Asia Pacific agrees to add another information about the additional cost because we are not always can
cover all the meals and accommodation. So the point is we are agreeing. We have no problem with this command.
Okay. I have just one thing we were discussing today earlier about when an expo place is not offering accommodation, if the rewards, the 40 euros still are 40 euros, or if you want more than 30, that like the motivation of the country to really search, really like work on this gets higher. It was just a discussion, and I agree with that. Everything was just that the participation fee is still the 100 or the 75, but the more goes to IAAS that could be used to motivate the countries more. From 10 euros you will get to provide more. I think.
The work the people are going to do, the sending and receiving guests, are still the same. Nevertheless, what they found, it's all about those participants or the trainee. Billing is a matter of expos, it's a matter of trainees in the end. So I don't think that could be a good idea in the end.
Any comment? No? Can I see your faces? No, Alright, so now we can vote. If you accept the amendment 32, please raise your flag now. Can you raise your flag like really high? Okay, 50 votes in favor.
Then amendment 34, article 17.10, on refund of the exchange fee and deposit. Refund of the exchange fee. Current text is this, and the proposed text is: from the exchange fee of each placed student in a given country, the amount of 40 euro will be credited into a database under the name of the receiving country, unless the training has been cancelled by the hosting national exchange coordinator after placement, which is then eligible to be used by the national director as agreed upon with the Vice President of Finance.
Any comment?
On comments, Vice President of Finance's duties should be updated accordingly.
The next one, can we see which word we meant to do? Not remember. The internship.
And that's the training, but it should be internship, it's just like the work and so on.
So unless the internship has been cancelled.
I have a question. Why to be used by the national director and not by the national sales coordinator?
Once the national director is the main person, everybody else is in his vice presidency as a board, so they all answer to him. But as in the board will actually decide, you need to have one specific person that's always in contact with the EB. Usually, that's always the national directors, they're always in contact with EB. Excos are in contact with the VPE. So that's why my proposition is for the national director. But again, my hope is that every time a national director actually asks PPF, is that the whole committee agrees on it. So it's not just national director working behind the committee's back. But there's no certain way you can be sure of that. It's like the worst case scenario. Anybody need more clearance?
I think the part about the, together with the VP of Finance is also to make sure that it goes to the right person. So if it's the expert who is most active, it should go to the expert.
And used by national director is not that he gets funded, is that he actually asks for those funds to be sent, given to some of the members attending any event or anything that the national director has in mind. So it's not only for events, hopefully it will be also used for events, but it's also if the VPF and the national director agree that those funds can be used for
hosting a BCP, like
something like that. It can be used for any purpose that is agreed upon by VPF as a national director.
Any more questions? That's good.
Should we maybe put a deadline on when they should use the money, maybe the year thereafter? Or just let them free and
I mean, if you don't need it as a committee, I would not put it a deadline. I mean, if you have enough funds from, I don't know, your university or whatever to do what you want to do, this can be maybe a comfortable saving, way of saving money to, I mean,
we also thought it would be more of a way of saving money, like adding it up, and then in the end you can use part of it to host a WoCo or to host the directors meeting. So it could be more of a way to save.
We were talking about it and we thought that if you don't put a deadline on it, it might never be used because people change gears very fast and people forget about the money that might be in missing funds. So
I think because you talked about the deadline, I was thinking maybe to give the update, give the transferability during WoCo. So every national director or every member who is present at WoCo sees how much there is in the account. I think it's a good thing if you don't use it, you can pile it up for a big event you host, but give every year the transferability, put it in the guides we have so we can send it to every national director. But I think if there is money, the chance is really little that nobody will use it. That's most of these numbers the problem.
but if you pile it up and, for example, a committee works for the exchange places, they do a lot of effort, they wait 3-4 years, they don't have the rewards anymore. It's the committee thereafter. So maybe they should get support to attend events somehow because they did that effort to find the expo places.
I mean, that's their decision to make. I mean, if we feel that like I did a lot of work and I'm going to WoCo, I can't support myself or I'm going to buy fees to trade fair or whatever, then I mean it's still they can do it what they want. I mean you can still voice your opinion as someone who did a lot of work in it and say like I feel that, but if they don't attend an international event, I mean how can you?
The whole committee always knows how many places have been found, how many people have been hosted, how many people have been sent. It's not a secret. Everybody in committee actually virtually is probably always discussed in the meeting, so everybody is informed about it. So there is no way you can hide how many people you sent or received. And also it's a committee that on the end actually decides as a whole and advises the national director on if they want to use the funds or not, if they want to wait or maybe save the funds for the future generations. And it's also a rare occasion where the whole committee exchanges at once. There's always somebody from the previous generation that's always there that has the knowledge and can transfer it to the newer generation.
Any other questions, comments, doubts? Comments, questions?
What would you say if we change the national director to national committee?
You need to have a designated, for me, you need to have a designated person that will be in contact. With the international committee, I as a member can approach VPF and talk to him. behind my comment is bad. Because you can, but then you putting the person that's in charge and being elected by the committee itself, and is in charge of the committee, I don't see why not do just the national director, in my opinion.
But the committee is a committee, it's not a person, it's the whole team. So not a single person of the committee can approach, it should be the whole committee, it should be the decision of the whole national board to do it.
You can add that part that it should be agreed upon within their national committee. But I wouldn't say the national committee because it's not a direct contact person for a review of finance. It will be difficult to get. Make sure you have the right person. Everybody can talk to.
Okay, but how will you manage to have a paper or a document that actually says the committee approves, because that's again done by the national director. And so it's hard to keep track of all the documentation that will be followed, because if you say the national director can always approach the VPF and say, yeah, my committee agrees, and take the document in the end. I'm just saying possible scenarios, but yeah, I know it's difficult, but again, it's decided by the VPF also, so the VPF here has the oversight of everything. And the VPF can only see if there's something fishy about it. He can contact the rest of the board that the national committee has, or people from the committee he knows personally to see what's up. So again, it's by the discretion of VPF to be approved or not approved.
I propose that we should write like is eligible to be used by the national committee via national director, like just that. Okay, there is more questions, doubts? They did say that needs to change trainee to internship. Trainee to internship.
We have it a couple of times within the constitution that they're connected to expo stays training. Can we maybe propose to change it every time into internship, internee, like those things, because it can be confusing with ITC? Do we need to vote on it?
So raise your flag if you accept to change.
All the trainings to internship.
Every trainee to internship. It's clear? What you said? Okay, cool. Okay, 14 votes. Slovenia? Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Everything related to Expro, make it into internship, like internship place, internship, intern, like those sort of things that I never use the word trainee correlated with Expro. Can we vote on that again?
Can we vote again? Since it wasn't clear.
Also trainee guide into internship. It goes to the intern guide.
Okay, so raise your hands, please.
Okay. Okay, 15 votes in favor. Celine.
Okay, so you can go through the text, and if you have any questions.
What I just mentioned now is that for the students that take part in the internship, we have the word trainee, intern, and student. And I would just decide on one. I really don't mind that. So it's the intern guy, right?
I think because you also said student only when it's stated who can apply for it, or it's still student.
Okay, can I see your faces?
Faces.
Paper faces? Okay, nice. Now we vote. So raise your flag if you accept the amendment 24. Zimbabwe. Okay, 15 votes in favor.
So I just propose to copy paste this text, which is then eligible to also be for the receiving countries, which is basically the same thing. Just we change the receiving and hosting countries because the difference of the reward system. Just change it to be the same. I'll just copy paste it to somebody else.
Okay. So we have similar changes to the rewarding and the sending countries.
Okay, raise your faces. If any comments, questions, faces first. Okay. There is no question, discussion, now we can vote. So raise your flag if you accept amendment 35. Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Okay. We move on to amendment 37, new chapter 18 for study abroad program. Guys, please pay attention. So the proposed text is the study abroad program gives universities the chance to promote their study programs via the ES network and gives students the chance to find interesting study programs. Preferably one person in the board of the Vice President of External Relations is working as an ES study abroad coordinator to be the main responsible of the ES study abroad program. A brochure with the possible opportunities for universities is available and should be shared with universities around the world continuously. An updated version should always be shared in the beginning of the term with the former universities when contracts are prolonged. And the comments that were passed on are Asia Pacific agrees, along with the regional board, working along with the regional board. Then Central Europe agrees with the comment and proposal. So an external relation is working along with the regional board as an ES study abroad coordinator. Oh, yes.
We just voted that it's one of the duties of the regional board to take part in this program. It's fair that there's a description of the program.
Basically, one of the boards is working as an ES study abroad coordinator along with the regional board to promote the program. So just somehow to find a way to incorporate regional board into this. Since the ES coordinator will be from our region, and it's going to be easier for him to coordinate with the different regional boards to actually access the universities from those regions. It's going to be easier if you include the boards, because the person, the ES study abroad coordinator, will be from one region. And he's going to have difficulties contacting maybe faculties from different regions. So if you include the board, he can go through the board to find those faculties in the region. Maybe just he is the main responsible, then add a new sentence after he is responsible of the ES study program. The ES study abroad coordinator is working alongside with the regional boards.
Okay.
Any question?
So just to read out the sentence, the ES study abroad coordinator is working with the regional boards to contact and inform universities about the study abroad program. Faces? Comments?
Can you see your faces? Paper faces?
Okay. And also on the previous sentence, preferably one person in the board of the vice president of external relations is working along with the regional board as an ES study abroad coordinator to be the main responsible of the ES abroad program. Basis to that.
The previous sentence, I would not change it. That's why we added this new one. Because if you change the previous, it doesn't make any sense. We want one of the people from the QB to be responsible for the program. But then again, it would be nice if it says that he's working alongside with the regional boards.
Okay, no more questions? Everything's clear? Yeah.
So maybe, Celine, if you can explain, or you need, because you can propose that along with the regional board, is it okay? Okay. Perfect.
Okay, can I see your faces?
So, okay.
Your facial faces, cover your real faces. Okay, now we can vote. So raise your flag if you have said the amendment 37. Okay, 15 votes in favor.
Okay. Next amendment, Amendment 38. Um, so the comments for this Ukraine in the south and Slovenia in north. Discussion?
It was just, if you do it like that, you just get equal regions. That was also part of the idea. And also on the map that was shown, Ukraine was already in the south. No more yes, it's gone. Yeah, someone, I don't know who, put a line there and put Ukraine already in the south. So we were like,
But about the amount, I wouldn't focus too much because countries come, countries go, so it will still fit. So I would just make it so it makes sense and not put it because it's equal amount. I would fixate on that. And then Russia and the list is big.
I would not divide Russia and Ukraine. And also, I would like Portia to explain why she wants to put Slovenia in the north. Well, basically, because the line was divided by the Mediterranean Sea, and we do have the access to it, somewhat.
No, I don't know. I just think that okay, but can we for this? I mean, I discussed with some other people like where to put Slovenia, but maybe Slovenians can decide like where to go.
What do you prefer, Slovenia?
What do you consider yourself? Oh, Mediterranean people or strict? Do you have any comments, ideas on this? Sounds? Yeah, but because of Wojciech's comments or in general?
I know it's uneven because there's still more countries in the north than it is in the south, but I wouldn't divide Russia with Ukraine because they are really similar. Even though they have a little bit differences right now, they are culturally really similar, and I wouldn't divide them.
Okay, but listen.
That's a wrong. Yeah, that's not the right map. That's not what I proposed. Still, political problems come and go, but culturally, I don't see why they should be divided. That's my personal belief. I'm open to other suggestions. If anybody has any different arguments.
If we have to put the country in the southern region, I would suggest instead of Ukraine, put France, it'd be much more south.
In France, like the place in France where there is a committee is huge. So there's no committee in the south right now, so it would make sense to. Still, like they're 5 minutes from Belgium, like it's easier to keep them with us in the region. But please take this serious. This is not just like who you like more or what kind of food you prefer or whatever. Just now think about this in a serious way.
I didn't think about it, but I agree with Lana. I mean, I was born in Ukraine, and I can confirm that language, culture, everything is like fucking something like Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro. You know, it's like language is not the same, but they understand each other. The same with Belarus. Same with some kind of like Poland. If they would be a sub-region, they would belong to the same one. So they are much closer to Russia and Belarus and all the other countries up north. than to Romania or Greece or Croatia. So now, can I see your faces? Your paper?
Can somebody state the proposal?
The same, no?
So the line is now will be under Ukraine. The proposal. Can somebody confirm that? So, yes.
Okay. Can I see your faces? Your paper faces? All right, now we can vote. So if you accept Amendment 38, raise your flag, please. Okay, 15 votes in favor. That was the last amendment, so congratulations.
Right now that we added
3 more. 2 that were postponed from. Okay, so let's move on. Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. We can move forward.
Okay, so the amendment for development fund. Attention. Article 11.1.1. So we have the structure of the development fund and the formula, and the proposed text is if sufficient funds are available, delete the formula. The development fund should cover the entire air flight ticket cost of the selected applicant. If sufficient funds are not available, the Vice President of Finance or designated administrator of funds must waive payments based on 75% or at least 50% of the total cost of the air flight tickets to fit the budget allowance. So this was the proposed amendment on development fund.
Okay, can I see your faces, your paper faces?
Okay, just to read the comment.
Can I say something? I think that's a good proposal because for people who don't have money to pay their flight tickets or the fees to participate on the international events, have only the 15% is like low quantity of money. So it's like if you don't have money, they give you like a little money. Either way, you cannot participate. So
According to this, if an airplane ticket is 1,000 euros, the person, if it's accepted by the VPF, is going to be sponsored, the least amount of money is going to be 500 euros, is going to go from the development fund. And if the development fund, as it's been this year, is 2,500, it's basically 20% of the fund goes to one person. So, and that's just for one event, and one person. So, I know it's a tough decision and tough question. Our proposal is the minimum percentage to go over to 25% of the total airplane ticket. So, and not to have like middle percentage or the upper, and everything else is based like on the discretion of the DPA and the administrator of the funds. That's how we would like to see it.
I agree, and we were talking about it with Anna Marie. The problem is like a lot of people who are getting the support and development fund are coming from the African continent. The thing is, in Africa, it's really hard to find cheap air tickets because it's the credit card or debit card is not really usable. Not usable, they don't really use it. So they go to travel agents, and the prices for the tickets are crazy. It's $1,500, $2,000. It's really expensive. I agree with you on that if you support 100% for one person for one event, you're spending maybe half of the budget of the year, and you won't be able to support other people, which is not the point of the development fund. It should support one person. Support as many as possible. But also, I also agree with Joaquin and we all agree on that the percent is really small, and it's not fair the way it is working right now. So there should be, for sure, there should be another filter on that, and some kind of sentence or something that would say that a person would be supported with a fair amount that will allow him to travel, but only based on the cheapest way of traveling, the cheapest way of going from place to place. Because there's also another situation that if the person is accepted for 100% of the coverage of his tickets, he may buy his tickets last moment and pay a bigger amount than buying in advance. So there are a lot of tricks, like tricky places that we should think about before. It's really important amendment this one if we will change it.
Yeah, I think this year we asked ourselves the questions: if somebody can pay 85% of his travel funds, why can't he pay 100%? It's because it's only like 150 euros we support, and I think that question doesn't change that much if you put it to 25%. We want to support the people who wouldn't get otherwise to events, and I think if you put it again on 25, you reach the same people that we are reaching now, and it's not our target for development. It should be people we support that otherwise couldn't attend a WoCo or a direct meeting.
It's a really difficult problem to tackle. Because the main question is going to be, are you going to sponsor few people with more money or more people with less money? So the question is
who are you sponsoring if you sponsor a lot of people with a small amount?
True, but then again, if you go with, let's say, tickets from Africa go up to 1,000, 2,000, depending on where you go, you basically then have the possibility to sponsor 5 people for all the national events.
But actually, that's something like he knows that. It's not an event created without the knowledge that he will only be supporting 4 or 5 members. It's supporting 4 or 5 members who otherwise couldn't go and who will do a good job at those things, because if you put it only at 5 people, control will even increase. Like now I have to approve 8 or 12 people, like it will increase. Check that if you do like that.
I would really like to hear like if because the African continent, let's say many people receive it. So if the airplane ticket is really that expensive, we Europe we're not used to that. So how much percentage we need that they really come? Because if we say it's 20-30%, and we can of course sponsor or support more people, but all these more people can't take and like find the rest of the 70% of the airplane ticket and can't come in the end. We won't have anyone. So we actually will need to know from the member states or member countries that needs this one, how much percentage, like what would be the minimum, or what would be, how many percentage they will be able to do.
The emails about comments I got when we opened up the development fund for the African Directives meeting were stated within these percentages. So we're really around 70-80%, because otherwise it doesn't really matter. If you put it at 15%, I don't think you're reaching out to the people who should get the support of development.
Also, the thing you're trying to achieve with this proposal, with this amendment, is to support people, like truly support, not just give it 10% and they support them, but actually have something to go, but have the control that this person is not overspending the money.
So he's not buying a really expensive ticket and he's not overusing the money of the fund because he can, constitutionally can. I was during the start of the year, I was in a conference in Skopje, and they stated, so they were covering the expenses for the participants, but they stated that we are covering 80% based on the cheapest way of traveling from country to country. So I was coming from Greece, I wouldn't buy a plane to go to the neighboring country. It would be crazy. They wouldn't cover it. So they would cover either bus or your gas to come from country to country. This, I think, is a smart way, but it should be controlled by the VPF when the person is applying, that he will check how much actually costs, more or less, for his travel.
Then the cost that will be checked is going to be probably a lower price than the one they can find themselves, because like you said, they're not really using credit cards and everything else, so they don't have really that much access. So maybe there should be a way that they pay money to IAASWorld and IAASWorld buys the ticket for them via the cheapest airplane ticket. That's maybe another possible solution.
So another big problem we have is that we only work with refunds. So the solution you give, we can't guarantee that the person really goes there. Like, we can't guarantee that he is going to that country, to that airport, but not to the directors meeting or to WoCo. And that's something we decided not to change because we don't want to give away that much control. But yeah, it is a way, but I also think that when you look for that, like I always stated how much they would get given on the flight ticket they stated to me. I think when I look up, or the next VP of Finance looks up the cheapest way, you can state that this is your cheapest way to get there. This is the only way you will get refunded. And there are still ways to getting other people to make sure you're getting the cheapest ticket available for you. So I think it's a little bit of a collaboration, but also because it will be more important to guarantee quality, because we only will have like 4 or 5 people going supported. I think it will be worth it to really look those things up very carefully and make sure the person is informed enough. It's also like, if you can make the mistake of not informing them and they buy a much more expensive ticket, like the changes we propose now will also be lost.
Yeah, we are from Asia Pacific. Actually, we want the development fund budget is increased to 50% minimum. But we have another because for the example like Asia Pacific, we are from Indonesia. For this WoCo, the cheapest ticket is like $1,500 US, and that's why we need to increase the development fund. But we have another consideration because we think that for now we are getting bigger, we are getting expanded, we are getting wider, and the new member country is from the like category A, category B, and maybe we need to make a decision. Like if we have to give a big bonus, like 50%, I mean like if the higher development fund you give for one person, and you the opportunity to give a support for the other person is lower, and we need to make a decision like, are we going to give a big support for maybe lower people, or we need to give a support? We need to we like.
Or we just still increase the percentage, but we can use it for more people, so more people can get the development fund.
So that's the concern we have today, that are we then support these members? Because if it's a small percentage they get, are we really reaching the people we wanted to reach with the development fund? Because if you only get 150 on a ticket of 1,500, will you really be helped if you can pay like still 85 of your ticket without any other support? I know other people find other support, which is great, but are we really supporting them? Are we really choosing between supporting a lot of people or a small percentage? I don't think the word support is that really right.
I would suggest that we pay purpose of land, but put not 25% but 50%, because we hear now that with 25% actually we don't help no one. But take into account also that, for example, if 2 people from a country come, or if 5 people from a country come, because we would like support that more countries can come and not that more members can come.
Maybe change that's still in the constitution, because normally in the original text you can scroll up, it stated that only 2 people from a country can go, and the percentage is lower if more people from one country go. So maybe we can change it again, that if it's from the same country, if you propose 50, but if it's 2 people, they can vote for the 5. But most of the time, because now the budget is really low, and we're probably 5, 6 people going, most of the time we choose for quality, we will also always go for diversity and try to get as much countries in one place.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we raise the subsidize for the high can really reach the maybe we can reach the people that we really want, but the people we really want the amount maybe certain. So I think if maybe have a strike a balance, there's a much better percentage for more people and the people we want. They're between the balance. So Asia Pacific suggests that to be 25 and 30 is that in the past it's too low. So but we will change gradually, step by step, to figure out the most best percentage. I'll not just turn that to the really high, because we cannot measure which one is the best. You know.
Actually, now that we discussed it, personally, and talking for the whole region, I agree that maybe we should keep it as it is, like the change as it is right now, 75% or 50%. But also to stay like 1 member per committee. So it's maybe stated, maybe not, but I know that probably everybody from the VP on board is going to be like choosing the different people from the committees. So, like I said, like you said, it's better to like, quality is better than quantity in this situation. And we're also working on ways to increase the fund. So in the end, it's going to be, in the end, we can probably have quality and quantity at the same time, hopefully.
I want to say the same, like right now, within this budget, will be 5, 6 people. But you really try to increase that fund as much as possible and use it to the fullest every year, so it's really empty, and we really can achieve as much people really support the Belt Development Fund and not more supporting it in a,
I think I agree with William. 25 or 10% is the level that we have now. I think we should put 25, 30% to that one. And if we see that it works this year and the budget is enough, and we work to support the amount of people that we want, maybe this year we can say a higher percentage. It's still, you're increasing the amount, but you're not achieving the goal you want to achieve. The person who is not able to buy his own ticket, which is the person you want to support, whether it's 15 or 30%, you're not able to go. You're not able to do this thing.
I would like to do a comparison. So we in Europe are used to that the flights, for example, from here are 1,000 euros. So in Africa, let's say, you found out they're 2,000 euros. So if we have the 50% that we are still, that we're now discussing, it's like the high one that we want, it's still 1,000 euro. So they still have to pay the 1,000 euro. If you lower this percentage to 25%, that's going to be even more they have to pay. So they would have to pay more to come to the WoCo here than we from Europe, because we're used to cheap flights. So it's actually not helping them. So actually, yeah, I want to do this properly.
So one question, because you see this part I'm going to highlight it. Can you just move down this, to the text and highlight the part that I'm actually asking for? So why is part of it actually crossed out and part not? Just trying to figure out this sentence. Because I would actually maybe then leave this, if this subtraction is happening, like if it's less than 500 euros, maybe the full flight should be covered. I would leave that without crossing the first part, because the rest doesn't make sense without this first part. I don't know who crossed out.
So this, the crossed out part is a continuation from the formula, like in the constitution. So it's the formula and then it's crossed out because, yeah. You understand?
I think I agree with the fact that 30 or 50% is not enough, and it's not quick to achieve. But maybe 100% is not a good idea either, because maybe the people who are really motivated can find some source to fund a part of their expenses. Maybe it can be a way to select also the really motivated people, because I feel like if we increase to 100%, we will have hundreds of applications for 5 people per year to help. Maybe 10 if we increase the amount of money we have, but still it will be so hard to select them. And I'm also concerned that if we increase a lot the percentage, we will not be able to help a lot of people, and then we have to divide those people inside the different events. So how do you decide how many people you have for each event? Yeah, that's
I want to bring another problem, another solution on the table. Yes, we need solution, but there's another thing that we must think about. We talked about it before. What happens with the people who come from developing countries, understand me, but they have enough money? Because there's also a situation. There should be some kind of control. It's hard to implement it because you need to have financial situation of their parents, their family status, and everything. But it's also because if you're going to support somebody with 50, 30, 80, 100%, you should be sure that this person really needs the money. Because we've seen examples of people coming from Africa having a lot of money. It's also a situation. It's not the general, it's not the like biggest situation, but there are cases like this. So there's also to be sure that you support the person who really needs the money and you're not giving the money to the person who already has it. Like you should be fair to support the person coming from Nepal, from Indonesia, from Africa, that is actually in need.
We were discussing here because in America there is a lot of countries who are in the C category. This is another topic. There is people who doesn't have money. It's really expensive to travel from Central America to Europe to even to Mexico. They cannot apply for development fund just only because they are on C and you are based on the income of the country, and it doesn't show the reality of the applicant person. So my question is there is an amendment to change the...
At this moment, there is no amendment for that, and we also discussed already before. There are even people from the DNE category countries that also have the same problem, like
not everyone has the same chances. So this is something that we could think about, but we don't have a solution for this right now. We do have a wonderful solution, but there is something that could be done, but it's really, really difficult to find out who are the people that you should support. And for now, it was always an A, B, and B category, but still it's difficult to check out like who needs to really and who is the best person to support.
Also, personally, stated that also in CD and E countries you have those, but there is more capital within the country that could be used for those things. There is more chance to host a crowdfunding event where people will pay to host other kinds of events that can pay for those things. I know or institutes that, governments that can pay for those things, with A and B countries, those chances are really low, and if it's institutes, it's most of the time Western institutes that will support you for those travels. But we also try to look for to make sure there's not too much pressure on the development funds. But within CDE, there's more chance to find those institutions which will support you, or the link is closer to you.
William here. I agree with you, and I discussed with Henry that last 2 days ago with the development fund, and why we propose like 25% and 30% is because the situation for the C country. And I can tell you the numbers like in Indonesia, the teenager for their job like 1 month is like 300 to 400 US dollars. But in Taiwan, it's like maybe 6 to 7 or 7 to 800 dollars. So it's not really quite different. But if you raise the percentage so high, like 50 and 75, I think it's quite unfair to the C country. And Henry has told this to me before, so we consider to be 25%.
Also, like Owen said, it's easier for the C country members and everybody else to find some grants or some company help, or from the city, from the university, from the ministry. Some people from the D and E country are doing that all the time, are asking people, asking around, and they have more chance of actually getting that support than the A and B countries. And the problem with A and B countries, there are not many large institutions there that are actually willing to sponsor students to go abroad to attend a conference. And that's also a problem that Meta said, with next WoCo shows proposing that I should like make a certain challenge or incorporate something into the WoCo so that she can present it to her ministry university, she can get funding, so that she's representing Indonesia in some challenges, some activity that she will actually represent Indonesia. So that way, C countries and D countries can actually try to get funding, but the problem with the B countries, they probably, I'm not sure, I think they're going to have more difficulty than us to try to find those funds. So that's why I know it's unfair to other people that there are difficult cases in the C, D, and E countries. It's unfair, but there should be like a limit where there's like real problem and there's like not that big of an issue in those kind of countries. I know it's difficult and it's hard, but I actually agree to just keep it for the A and B countries and to keep the percentages that they are. And I also agree with Sarapis, we should implement a certain system of control check, and the funds should be allocated according to the cheapest way to travel to that country.
Okay, just to give a comment, since we're not even sure what happens. Like for this year, we're really working so hard with the African board. I'll speak for the Africa, but it applies to the other regions. To get funding for at least 15 members or 10. But we did not succeed. A lot of people really wanted to come, but they couldn't. For last year, we got, because I tried to have Zimbabwe participate every time, and we actually got funding from Belgium. So it's so hard to get within Africa, it's really hard. We have tried to host events, but you really
don't get much money, but we actually get from outside. So now we have super motivated members, but they really, really want to come, but they are not even here. And I think for them, development fund, they're really happy that it's there, but it's really not helping, like, at all. So that's why the regional director had to propose this. This. Okay, thank you very, very much for the discussion, for all the input. But we have a bus to catch later on, quite soon. So, and I see that there is still a lot of things to solve in this. So I would ask you, do you agree to further think on this, further discuss between yourself the next days, and to try to come up with a counter proposal, because we see that we don't agree with this proposal, but we see that there has to be something that changed. So try to come up with a counter proposal so we can, in the next GA day, vote on this, the 28th, so it's in 2 days already. So just, we have the whole bus ride to talk about it. But it's a really important topic, and I don't want to rush over it. So I would ask you to postpone this until the next GA. Okay?
Just like if you're going to have the discussion, conversation, which I hope you do, maybe like since it's a human factor, since you're deciding for a person on the other side of the screen, maybe delete any form of equation, numbers. So maybe like try to get as much proof from the person applying for this financial situation, and then give the task to the next EC. So they can decide, depending on which person is, where is he coming from, and what is his motivation, and what his experience is, and what he will contribute, instead of just having numbers deciding per person.
Okay. We close the discussion now. This is made based already on a discussion that they had together, this proposal. But there are also people here from the category countries. If you also are free to contact people, you have to national directors. If you want to add more context, you can ask. So to be open discussion if you want.
Actually, also think that the regional is really happy to answer all your questions. We like also made this, so I think don't hesitate also contact them. Through WhatsApp is always very responsive through that meeting. So yeah, if you have more questions, you can please ask.
Yes, we will see now. There are just a few ones that I think they don't need discussion, so we will see if we can go. There is discussion, we postpone them as well. But preferably not because we have other things planned, but if it's necessary, then it's not.
Okay, so we move on to the amendments that were proposed in the morning.
So this amendment not told us already was because the rewarding system is not approved. This will be added to the duties of PPF. So any faces to raise?
Raise your faces. If you have something to discuss, because we already so late, I think. Okay, all of us agree about that. All of us agree. So, okay, raise your flag. Okay, 15 countries in favor.
Okay, so on the postponed amendments, we have the duties of the regional exchange coordinator. And proposal is delete since we now have the regional exchange board.
Raise your faces, then. Okay, over in favor. And now, raise your flag. Okay, 15 countries in favor.
Okay, so the last one is on exchange program guide, and this is the current text. Proposed text is delete because you already have it.
Okay, raise your hand.
So the amendments that we vote as well earlier, because we didn't vote still on the Expo and 20 guides. Can we vote now that we change the Expo guide to the Expo and Inter guides? There were a few amendments where we stated that it's the Expo and Inter guides, but we couldn't vote yet because we didn't have this amendment yet. Just to be clear, we had now in the discussion, sorry, 5 more minutes. In the discussion then we had the voting for the one that we split into 2 guides. But before we didn't have that one voted yet, so that's why we said like, okay, we wanted to vote actually to agree, but we don't do it yet because it's about Expo guide and we didn't approve that yet. No, it's not only this one, there was all the same situation, we just postponed it because of that splitting. Any questions about that? So can we approve that all those amendments that were not in the discussion, that were in the first slides? That's we voted, but we didn't vote before, so that's why we didn't want to vote for the previous ones, because they stated the same thing before. The first, we didn't vote that the other ones are now approved, so it's a consequence. So just now to vote on the consequence that the other ones are now approved because of this approval. Do you understand? Did they? No questions?
Any questions?
Okay. Then please raise your flags for that. If you vote that by consequence of approving the other ones are now also approved. Yeah, it was about this one. To be clear now. 37 is now approved. Okay, then we have in the discussion with Amendment 8. That we also postponed. It's about the idea about the duties of the VP external relations.
Please pay attention.
So we postponed Amendment 8 because we didn't vote yet for ICEA and also didn't vote yet for WoCo.
The main thing that we were discussing was this phrase right here, whether the next VPER will be responsible for the supervision of the annual National Congress of Agriculture, or will be coordination and responsibility. So any comments now we got to talk about it.
Because of so many minutes it was lost, but basically I think that the thing that needs to be on the supervision of the organization. Yeah, just the supervision, not the organization. He can help an organization, but I think it should be stated by the constitution that he has to organize.
I think there are now 2 possibilities. Or we put it until here, So before that includes before this, so responsible for the supervision of the annual international conference for youth in agriculture, ICA, so that the event is organized according to the standards of IAASWorld. Or we also add that includes support of the organizers with coordination, fundraising, attraction of sponsors, promotion of the event through IAS Network and IAS Partners Network, providing the sponsorship document and all the necessary tools by IAASWorld.
Maybe support to the organizers.
It's just with ICA, we voted to not put in there that the regional board should help. So here the organizers, they mean the local committee that's organizing it. Okay.
Because it's the first phase of delegating it from the VPR to the next committee, to the next organizers. And until we will know and we will learn how it's going to work, which way it's going to be local or regional or international, annual, like once, then just keep it. I mean, it's like keep it like this. Keep it vague. It's like it's a living thing. You don't know how it's going to escalate. So just wait, see what happens, and then you can. We're making out a general, like a skeleton, and then we'll propose the details in the future.
Okay, raise your faces. Easier. So, all in favors, raise your flag. So, the 3 countries in favors.
Someone can inform Lucio that he has 2 extra duties to his position. So we will keep it here for today because we have a bus to catch. Please think further about the development fund. It was really nice that a lot of people of you were thinking with us about how to change it. So please do that also in the next day. I know it's not long anymore. Is there any other comment to make? Okay, then thank you.